Hello, I'm Mike Strom, Wyoming State Archivist, and this brief presentation is designed to give you an introduction to the Wyoming State Historical Records Advisory Board's Regrant program, some examples of eligible projects, how to apply for a regrant, and some ideas for how to make the results of the project available online. The National Historical Publications and Records Commission provides funding for the State Historical Records Advisory Board. The board is able to regrant part of the grant it receives from the NHPRC to institutions around the state that have projects to preserve and provide access to Wyoming's historical records. June 1st is the deadline for applications this year, and the board is able to award 5 grants of up to $2,500 each. I understand that these are not the largest grants, but it may be enough to get a project started, and a lot of the projects we fund occur in stages, or to provide training that would make future projects possible. The NHPRC's guidelines determine what types of projects are eligible for funding. Here they are. Digitizing records, and these can include photos, records, or oral histories. Providing online access to historical records. Processing archival collections, and this means arranging a collection of records, storing the records in a way that best assures their long-term preservation, and creating an inventory. And lastly, training, to learn the skills necessary to do the things listed above. The grant application is available on the SHRAB website, and I'll provide that address in a few slides. The application is very short. We understand that these are not large grants, and we have tried to keep it as simple as possible. However, we do need to know that you have planned out the project and have the support from the organization's leadership. So we do require such things as a one-page budget, letter of support from the director, and an explanation of what the project will entail, why it's important, and what you expect to achieve. It's important that you know from the start that priority will be given to those applications that show commitment to developing and/or implementing projects that will lead to enhanced online access of historical records. Access is one of the NHPRC's highest priorities, and therefore it's one of ours too. That said, providing increased access doesn't have to be exceptionally complicated. Let's take a look at a few different ways to provide access to digitized records. This is a finding aid staff at the American Heritage Center created. They processed a small collection of photographs, meaning they arranged them and then created an inventory so researchers can find them. They received a regrant from the State Historical Records Advisory Board this past year to digitize the photographs. This is a partial view of the inventory, and if you click on the links, you can see scans of the photos. This is the modernized version of the traditional archives approach to making a collection accessible. If you have the resources to do something like this, that's great, but there are other simpler ways to provide online access. This is a website from the Museum of the Mountain Man in Pinedale. They used a SHRAB grant this past year to help with development. The website features a collection of interviews and guest blog posts highlighting the use of the Wind River Mountains and Green River Valley, both historically and in the modern era. These posts are complemented by historical documents and objects from the Museum of the Mountain Man's collections. You can see a pair of scanned documents in the screenshot. They have not digitized a lot of records, and I hope they will add more later, but this is an interesting way to promote their historical records. You could also do a blog post about the digitized records. This one is from our blog at the State Archives. A Facebook post would work as well, perhaps Twitter, anything to promote the historical records. You can see some of the guidelines and requirements listed here. A more complete list is available on the SHRAB website. Final project and expenditure report. This is where you summarize all the good work you've done and make the official request to receive regrant funds to reimburse your expenses. There's a 33% cost share requirement this year. That's a bit different from past years. The cost share, however, can be met with in-kind donations, meaning time spent on the project can be used as cost share, and that's what most grant recipients do. And copyright. Copyright guidelines are available on the SHRAB website. Here's the address for the State Archives homepage and a picture of what it looks like. The link to the information about the State Historical Records Advisory Board is available under the About tab at the top of the homepage. Once you get to that page, the regrant application, guidelines, and copyright information are under the heading labeled Grants. Again, the deadline for us to receive applications is June 1st. We can award regrants of up to $2,500 for projects that work to preserve and provide access to Wyoming's historical records. Here's my contact information. Please feel free to call or email me with questions. Thank you for watching.